Hi, I'm Akhil.
And I'm Varun Grover.
Welcome to The Long Take. This week, discussing the new Amazon movie, which is in theaters, not on Amazon right now. It's called Superboys of Malegaon, directed by Reema Kagti and written by Varun Grover. And it stars a bunch of faces you might have seen before. It's a take on a real life story, and I don't know how close it to the real life story because I haven't seen the docu it's based on. But yeah, what do you make of the movie at all?
I thought it was okay. I
Yeah,
wasn't
same.
blown away, and I kind of struggled to get through it. Yeah, but I can't really point my finger at what exactly is the issue.
Yeah, I felt there was potential like going into it. Like the first 20 minutes, I felt like promise of a movie that, could use this situation to not just comment on the art of filmmaking and the struggles, of like art versus like commerce and stuff like that, but also like comment on the outsider nature of like just like, dealing with Bollywood tends to be like a very inside thing. But yeah, I think at least what I felt, and I guess that's what we're going to discuss, is that for me, what's missing was it just felt too neat at times, that they knew what beats they wanted to hit at which point of the film, and not enough of an organic discovery of where this was going. Like, because they know the story, but when you're telling it to me, I wanted to feel a little more organic.
Yeah, which is very surprising. It's written by Varun Grover, who wrote Masan, which is still all these years later, like maybe near the pinnacle of what is possible in our country.
Yeah.
But this one feels like it's written by a screenwriting professor who has read so much theory and knows exactly her 10 minute ke baad we need to do this, and then this conflict happens, but then we also have to develop this relationship, and it feels very mechanical.
Yeah, like it's just things would just happen, like one thing is like when he makes that big gamble, like we're not even told that he's putting a lot of money on that movie he's making based on a play, and the movie flops. Like this one dramatic shot of like Nasir standing outside, like random artificial rain is pouring down, and that's it. Like everything just kept comes crashing down. It just feels abrupt. Like it doesn't feel momentous going into it, but coming out of the scene, you're like, oh wait, that was that momentous. Like there, everything is gone.
Yeah, because you're anticipating the setback, right? Because he's been riding on such a high for so long,
Mhm.
he's bound to have a setback. And
Yeah.
because the movie kind of telegraphs everything, you're like, huh, of course, it hona hi tha. So, I mean, there's very little surprise. I think the movie gets too carried away by the whatever allusions to real life film industry stuff that it wants to kind of make, which is too on the nose.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this guy makes a movie, he sar pe chad jata hai, he becomes arrogant, he forgets his friends, whatever, whatever. I don't know. If you're going to make a movie about like human relationships and just have the scrappy filmmaking in the background, then focus on the human relationships beyond superficial, here is this type of character, this guy has two traits. I need those characters to be a little more complex than what we were shown.
Yeah, it needs to not just be about, what they're going through on the set and like the struggles in making these films and like getting the fame or whatever. And then one guy just off, like the moment like Vinit Kumar Singh's character like gets upset and just like leaves the story, like there's nothing for his character until he comes back, right? In the final act. It's just like in stasis, his character goes off to Mumbai and he gets like, sure, he gets very little screen time, but like even the screen time he gets, I just like there's nothing meaty happening in those scenes, right? I'm just like, why are we even like, what are we going towards? Are we just like passing time until his character becomes important again?
I'm kind of also confused by the timeline. So there's a time jump, right?
Yes,
So
I missed the
from
first title card. Is it 90s or 80s?
it's 97 and then we jump to 2004.
Yep, and then 2010.
So what is that guy doing exactly? Like it is also
13 years he spent in Bombay roughly.
doing what?
Yeah, like even like if he's going through struggles, if he's like setbacks, like how is he like getting by? Like
Surviving. Yeah.
yeah, and if it doesn't matter, then why even show a single scene in Bombay?
Just I mean show us like he's working at some dhaba or something. Like give me like 5 seconds of
Yeah, and think people just come randomly into it, right? Because that in 97, that other guy who's gonna become a Urdu teacher, he leaves
yeah.
after filming the first movie, and then he appears randomly in one scene in Bombay. I'm like, oh yeah, this guy. But like, it doesn't matter. Like, why to put him in the scene if you're telling me it doesn't matter? Like, you've forgotten about him.
The thing is, I haven't seen the documentary either, or at least I don't remember, because I remember when the documentary came out and everyone spoke about it, but I have no memory of actually watching it. So I I don't know if every one of these people is based on a real character or if some of them
Well, going by
are
the
like
end credit,
composite,
they do claim that everyone's based on a real character.
which is a mistake then, right? Because then you're kind of creating a hodgepodge of things because all of them are pretty thin. And because all of them are thin and many of them go missing for large chunks of the movie, you're like, like exactly, like why do I care about this dude now suddenly? Just make them into composite characters, you know, like the Kavi and the writer can just be one dude. They're both missing.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's a little, I think the antiseptic kind of nature of this movie, which is very annoying because the movie wants to be the exact opposite of that, is also because of just the visual style of it. I was quite bothered by just it feels like one set they made, like one like town square,
Yeah.
and the rest of it is just like green screen or something. And for a movie that wants to be so rustic and like connected to the roots, it takes you away, right? You're immediately like, ये तो कल paint किया ना तुमने.
Yeah,
Like,
like,
go.
and I'm surprised because like when it opens, like you get the MGM logo and you're like, okay, like Hollywood studios, like, you know, producing horror movies now. Then you have the XLN logo and you have a Tiger Baby logo. Like you would expect they have money to throw at this thing. But for some reason they're reserved about it. Like it's almost like they're scared of putting money in this movie.
Very strange because normally they kind of, you can tell that they spent money, right, on their projects. If anything, like agar matlab, even if they're like crappy projects, at least you can tell that chalo it doesn't look cheap. Even that like small sitcom show with the talking wizard cartoon, whatever, it was, a lot of it was shot like on location, which is anywhere rare. But a movie like this where you have like a good bunch of actors, you don't need to dilute it with all these things, right? You don't need to get distracted. You just focus on essentially three characters, right? Adarsh Gaurav's character, Shashank's character, and Vineet Kumar Singh's character. Chart their friendship. I don't honestly care about the filmmaking and all of that. That's like secondary. Just chart how their friendship evolves, which I don't know, the movie's kind of confused about.
Yeah, it comes in bits and parts, right? Like the first 30 minutes probably like charts the friendship for at least Nasser and Farouk. You like, you know, director writer budding, like, you know, yeah, let's do some crazy thing, then fall out because the director decides like he's going in a direction.
Just by the numbers.
Yeah, by the numbers, but at least it charts for that period. And but the Shafiq, like fully loyal, and then he gets like annoyed because he's seeing his cut. Like that comes so late into the movie, right? And he's just hanging about for possibly like 80, 90 minutes without really doing anything except being the loyal guy in the corner. So you're right. Like it's just, you need to spend more time, you have to give us more scenes with these guys, which like make us feel like we're with them and not just we're with them when something is happening in their lives in terms of like, उनने movie बनाया, success हुआ, failure हुआ, या कुछ और हुआ.
Yeah, the movie making is or should have been secondary. I'm going to make a weird comparison, but because I watched it recently, Anora, the first act of Anora, it's when she kind of meets that weird dude and they go on this whirlwind kind of Las Vegas trip, which ends with them getting married. All of it basically plays like an extended montage, right? It is all jump cuts rushing through and gives you that exhilarating feeling of here's what this feels like. My thing is, in this movie, do that with all the pehli picture banana. You know, I don't need to go through. And I kept thinking, it's a lagan hai kya? Matlab, are you going to like introduce each and every character as if they're the most important person in the world? And here is the, duty that they're going to perform in this. And then it goes on and on and on. I'm like, nee, but just, I know they're going to make the movie.
Yeah.
Let's take me to, because it's not like you're really showing me the scrappiness, right?
Yeah. There's only like one. It shows only one struggle of one day of like having to do one scene like 7 times because people can't do the dialogues. And then the cut to like movie pack up.
Yeah. It was more promising when the main guy Nasser kind of discovers by mistake the art of like, yeah, exactly. That was fun.
That's like fun, yeah.
Because there is like an element of discovery, right? Uske baad jo the actual like shooting and all, that's like whatever. Like there are no happy accidents, there's no magic, there's no like Babylon type ka butterfly lands or on Brad Pitt's shoulder, you know, stuff like that. Which I feel like maybe it could have been a little more ambitious. It's weird. You either make this more ambitious or you strip it completely down.
Yeah.
Right. The movie is currently in the middle, which is not a great place to be.
Yeah. I mean, I get it's episodic, so it will feel like you're jumping from one to the other. But even in the episodes, even in amidst the 3 episodes, it just feels like there are crucial bits missing that would add to the emotions. Like you just get like one scene of people going into doing something, and you get the scene of them coming out of it. And like, beach mein kya hua? What are the feelings in the middle?
It needs basically it needs the entirety of Achal Mishra's Dhoin to be like sandwiched in.
Yeah.
Like if you take that movie and put it in this is a better movie because we need people to sit and talk about ambition and moving out of this hole, looking at the aeroplanes and wondering if we'll ever get to sit on them.
Yeah, like what you get like one tiny scene of like 15-second scene of them on a scooter doing that, but you need like 15 more scenes like those.
We need them to talk. We need to talk about like who they are. We need to see them in their disgusting like chota sa kamra or whatever alone. I don't know. But I guess this movie doesn't want to be that, right? It wants to be like a very sanitized version of.
Yeah, that's my issue with it. Almost like either this movie should be like, half an hour somehow less and just go run through it, or it needs to be like 3 hours more, like Once Upon a Time in America length, and you take me through everything. Like all
Exactly. It needs to be more ambitious or it needs to be stripped down, not this
it
bitch
can't
talk.
be in this middle ground. Yeah, it's just like it's an insane compromise and it's suffering for it.
Yeah. I don't know if you watched Harishchandrati Factory.
I haven't.
Like it's been a few years.
Yeah.
It was about the making of the first Indian film. And it's like a brilliant romp, right? That movie doesn't care about characters. It's just like it's almost like an adventure movie. And that's why it works. So I'm thinking possible to hai dekho, like making a movie with thin characters, especially doing exactly what these guys are doing. But once again, it's because they want to also do like the shadi stuff.
Yeah,
The courtship.
why is that all there? Like, why are Nasir's two love interests there? Okay, one love interest and one of Nasir is there.
It's not like a heartbreak influences him to
Make
pursue
a movie or something about it, right? Like, he doesn't write anything about it. It just exists, and the wife exists for like no reason except to give like 30,000 rupees at some point.
Possibly, yeah, actually.
What does she contribute? What is the point of her like law thing she keeps saying? Because at one point she has a meeting with like the actress, the Sholay actress who's being abused. But I don't like. There's no like. Where's the result of it? Like what happened? They don't tell us. Just leave us hanging.
No, you're right. I think uska function is literally limited to these three beats. There's also a Suhagrat beat, right? Where they're like, oh, pehle dost
Let's be
banenge.
friends. Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, so these three beats she's supposed to hit. Otherwise, she's not a character.
Why just put her like it's almost like like once they've come to know the people who exist in this universe, it's almost like they feel sad if they leave someone out. It's like they're feeling like Nasir level guilt of cutting Shafiq out of this first movie. Like no, but उनको निकाल देंगे तो वो बुरा मान जाएंगे.
Yeah. Some contract dispute हो जाएगा, ये वो सू हो जाएंगे. It feels
It's not even
very.
contract. It's almost like they will invite them to premiere and be like, oh, मेरा character नहीं है इस movie में, इसकी wife नहीं है. It खाली important
Which could still happen, I suppose, considering how chopped up this movie feels.
She'll be like, what? Why do you put me? It just feels like I love him like unconditionally and I am studying law for 15 years.
Oh, that's another like Mr. and Mrs. Mahi thing. Like, if you are essentially a like lawyer, why are you pining for this dude?
Yeah.
For the entirety of your life. But that's a different argument.
Exactly. Like the whole practice is this thing. We're watching movies in Superboys of Malegaon and we're sitting here thinking like, what is up to this woman?
Yeah, what is she doing? Hey, मतलब क्या? Either you explain to me, ना नासिर में ऐसा खास क्या है? Like, what is so special about this guy that
That's not
this woman has?
This movie needs 300 minutes more or it needs 30 minutes less.
So, watching a movie like this, which is like a shrug, I automatically am like, what is the point? And what I've come to the conclusion to is basically that this movie is about piracy and theatrical. How both things go hand in hand. How one cannot exist without the other, and how piracy is basically a necessary evil in ensuring that the theatrical marketplace exists. Now, that is a lot of it is very literal in the text of the movie because they are basically doing chori and it's sustaining their whatever exhibition market. But then that could possibly also be like a comment on the real world, because more than a few people have admitted that economically to benefit hota hi hai. The more people kind of steal stuff on the internet, the more they tend to kind of check things out in theaters. And that's the extent to which I can intellectualize this movie.
So, but like I can understand that like sentiment for the first act of the movie,
Mhm.
but then what about the other two?
That's like a Hamartia. I don't know. It's basic. I don't know. It's not like ambitious or anything. It's everything
Yeah.
is on the face. मतलब यही है basically. देख लो.
Yeah, because
But
at the one point in the second act, like, this Faro guy is like, I will not admit defeat. I will not go back no matter what happens. I'll not be labeled a failure. Cut to 2 minutes later, dad dies and he's back in Malegaon. I'm like, but अभी वो point defeat हो गया ना पूरा, like, जो तूने बोला. Like, I don't feel the gravitas of it anymore. You're back. You're holding your, like, you're
this
buttering your
is
dad. Everyone's around you.
this is like the equivalent of my favorite Rocky Rani ki Prem Kahani joke, where like Amir Bashi's character had like his first kind of brush with character development, and his dad had to die for it. Only in extreme circumstances will dudes in Hindi movies kind of. But I don't know. Oddly enough, Varun Grover ka last film, All India Rank, which he also directed, similarly mid.
Yeah. I think we're discussing on the podcast.
I don't know. Meanwhile, Rohit Shetty has made 5 movies in the last 5 years.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So then is the industry not rewarding? Is that the thing that's happening with both Varun and Neeraj? Or is it just like they didn't have the great
I
idea?
don't know. When was Reema Kagti's last feature? But she's been busy, but still.
Yeah, just like it's एक जगह से guaranteed money आ रहा है because of Made in Heaven. They like us now, so keep saying yes.
Meanwhile, Vineet Kumar Singh is like 50 years old and he's still apparently playing a college kid or what, like 20s. He looks also old.
Everyone is the same. Like 13 years passed in this movie and none किसका शक्ल नहीं बदलता है. Do you want to do our लोग क्या पहनेंगे segment?
I have no idea. People, this is
I'm betting this movie gets ignored.
possibly, it's so low key. Theaters mein to nobody, I can imagine. Like, if you like Chapo, like Amazon Prime ka logo on every bit of marketing, nobody even.
Automatically people like, oh, okay, आ रही है ना,
हाँ.
तो जाना है.
एक तो ये biggest mistake that I've been telling myself mostly, because who else am I going to tell? But I'm like, why are you
Yeah.
posting Netflix ka thappa on your posters for theatrical movies? Like, I'm never going to go to watch anything which tells me that please just wait 2 weeks.
Yeah, only way you convince me is if you put the IMAX logo above your streaming partner logo. Then I might be inclined. But otherwise there's no way.
You'll go watch Pushpa 2.
Yeah. Like, I'm saying कि like something Wicked, if you say like, Peacock presents Wicked, but you write IMAX over it, I'll be like, okay, maybe.
But yeah, this one, though, they've shot themselves in the foot only.
Yeah.
What Prime Video? You are not going to watch Prime Video.
Yeah.
Theater.
You're not even getting like, कि OTT को बेच के पैसा कमा लो. नहीं, उन्हें खुद को बेचा.
But yeah, I have no idea. Like, this feels so like uninspired.
Yeah.
To even like speculate how people will react. They'll be just shocked. Like, people here, they have reactions which are so outlandish sometimes, but it's because most of our movies are so terrible, right? So they kind of provoke you into having strong reactions. This one is so like, whatever. Like, how people will be flummoxed. Like, how are we supposed to react to this? There's no like rule book.
There's no gyrating heroes. There's no item numbers. What are we supposed to do with this one?
There's no Ranbir Singh that we can, praise.
Yeah.
And there's no like.
So middle ground movie, middle ground reception.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I think that covers it.
Yeah.
That's all for this episode of The Long Take. You can follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Threads, The Long Take Pod. You can write to us, thelongtakepod@gmail.com. Please leave us a rating and a review with episode, and we will see you next week. Thanks for listening.